asked me this question. He said, "Tu last mein interested hai?"
I didn't say last.
Of course he said it. I was like, what?
But all said and done, him and Tamanna.
All said and done, him and Tamanna.
Okay, there ends the story. That's the shortest story I've ever told.
Right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our film industry.
We are hippo.
So authentic. Friends, a warm welcome to everyone. Royal Stag Barrel Select Large Short Films presents Select Films, Select Conversations with the Select Ones. And now get ready for a captivating discussion on the thrilling adventures of storytelling. Cinema at its heart is about telling a story. Whether it's on a gadget, a television screen, or a movie theatre, a story is being told to us to move us, inspire us, and to stay with us. Immersive storytelling in movies transports you to a realm of imagination, providing a delightful escape from reality. In our fast-paced lives, time is a precious commodity. Royal Stag Barrel Select Large Short Films presents a unique opportunity to experience beautifully curated stories within a concise time frame, allowing us to savor wonderful narratives amid the hustle and bustle of our ever-running lives. Hashtag Short films for the win. When we're talking about stories, kahanis, the man who gave us Kahani and several other thrillers and fantasy stories is someone we're delighted to have here today with us. Please welcome celebrated filmmaker Sujoy Ghosh. Very good. Very good. Please.
Thank you.
With him are two of the most versatile actors of our times. Kalki Koechlin, with her magical ability to shift from one role to the other, and Vijay Varma, who has ignited screens with his powerhouse performances over the last 2 years. Please welcome them.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello. Sir.
This is like some political,
Yes.
gathering.
Yeah, political gathering is
Very-
like this. Come here. This is Gathbandhan.
Okay, Kattabandhan.
Since our talking point is the adventures of storytelling, we must kick off this chat with the topic of story selection. After all, that's quite an adventure in itself. Picking the right story, the select ones for the right cast at the right time for the right audience is nothing short of an art. Sujoy,
Hello.
Ahalya was a game changer in short films, not just for Royal Stag Barrel Select Large Short Films, but for the entire genre in general. How was Ahalya born?
You know, Ahalya took a while. Yeah, so my friend was working with Royal Stag Barrel Select Last Short Films, and he kept pestering me, "Ek chota sa film bana, ek chota sa film bana," and I didn't know how to. These people are actually very interested in the quality of the film. You know, they had a lot of passion in making a short film. They were not making short film for any commercial reasons. It's not that they were going to give X amount of money and get Y amount of money back. They just wanted to make a film. They just wanted to make a good
Content.
short film, good
Yes.
content they want to be associated with. And that kind of got me into that thinking, okay, let's make something. You know, let's make something which, hence I started writing. And it was very difficult. And it wasn't easy to write a film in 12 minutes when we are used to 2 hours.
Correct?
So I thought, and I wrote this little film called Ahalya. And I really wanted to make it in Bengali. And again, they had, okay, make it. So I said, okay, chalo, banate. And then I got to meet Soumitra Chatterjee, who was my idol, who was God. And the fact that I get to work with him for 3 days. And then Radhika came on board. And the moment Radhika came in and wore that white dress, Ahalya was born.
That's a beautiful story. Vijay, you were a part of Sujoy's short film in Lust Stories 2, and I have to say, adventurous to say the least. What drew you to such an adventurous script?
I was shooting with Sujoy already. We were shooting Jaane Jaan. And I think we just wrapped the shoot and he asked me this question which I didn't understand. He said, "Tu last mein interested hai?"
I didn't say last.
Of course he said it. I was like, what? He's like, "Are you interested in last?"
I have my reasons.
He's Bengali, so you have to ignore how he says last. But then eventually he said, "I'm sending you a script, have a read." And I read it and I know that he's got a strong game in short filmmaking. Like I'd seen Ahilya, I'd seen the other one that he's made. It's just fascinating how much is told in so little time. It's the same happened when I read Last Stories too. And so much packed in 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes of screen time. And I just had this opportunity to work with him again, be on his set again. And it was a quick job. In a week, we finished everything. It was just an extension of all the fun that we had in Jaane Jaan that we brought on to Last Stories, and we had a great time shooting it. It was the quickest project in my life.
But all said and done, him and Tamanna.
All said and done, him and Tamanna. Full stop.
Yeah. Okay. There ends the story. That's the shortest story I've ever told.
Right.
No, barring that, the game they brought to the table, by taking, because they had nothing. They were working against, I think, complete green. They had no absolute idea of what the film looked like or what they were doing, where they were heading, how they were going.
Green
Yeah, it's
screen.
all green screen.
And beautifully they did it, and he says it's the shortest project he's done, but it's especially due to him and Tamanna just killing it, on set with the film.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
What made you pick him, though?
He's my brother. So,
Apart from the fact that he's your brother.
because he was that character I was writing. When you write, you get some kind of an inclination
image,
of
yes.
a kind of image you see. He kind of just fit into that. I'm not saying he's like that in real life. I know him because I've seen his other works. I've seen his work in Ghost Stories. I've seen his work in Gully Boy. I've seen his work in Monsoon Shootout. And he is a girgit. He can do anything. So despite the fact he's nothing like that character, Vijay in Lust Stories, I know he can bring it alive, just like that.
Interestingly, so when he cast me in Jaane Jaan, he had mentioned that he's seen something of mine. And I said, "What have you seen?" He said, "I've seen Ghost Stories."
Yeah.
In which I have 5-minute role in one of the short films. I just feel like no work gets unnoticed.
No, it doesn't.
Because I did a 5-minute job in a film.
Impactful 5 minutes.
And he remembered me from that film when he was casting for Jaane Jaan. So it was unreal because there were other work out there which had far more, flair. I had done so many things.
Far more
this
to
and that.
show.
But he just,
No, mine was Ghost
he
Story.
remembered that. So you never know. Short film can also get you a feature film.
I think that's what cinema is all about.
Yes.
It's not supposed to attract everybody or not put everybody off.
Sure.
It's just what it brings to you, what it delivers to you.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of adventure, tell us about your adventures with literary adaptations from Anukul to Jaane Jaan, made for our very discerning audiences.
See, I was always fascinated by, or rather in awe of directors who would adapt a book. And Ray used to do a lot of that. Satyajit Ray used to take a lot of books and adapt it. I personally feel my job as a director is to tell a story. I write a story because I want to find that story which I want to tell. But ideally, if I could find a story, I would love to tell it. So Anukul was actually the first adventure into adapting a book, or rather a story onto screen. And it was a great exercise, because you realize it's so much harder to do that, because when you're reading a book, and this is what we faced in Jaane Jaan also, when you're reading a book, you're only answerable to yourself. But when you're putting the same story on screen, I'm now answerable to you. You're going to ask me a lot of questions, which I need to anticipate and answer them. And it makes you look at that content in so much more different way. You try to figure other avenues, like, is this really love? Is this really hate? Or is this really another emotion that I'm completely not seeing which you might see. That's how it happens, you know. And when you take a book like Devotion of Suspect X, it's a little harder because that's a Japanese novel, and then you have to put it in an Indian context because predominantly that's my audience. I mean, that's the audience I serve. So you Indianize it, you know. You see there's a lot of characters. So you take 3 characters and you create one Vijay. So you get to play all these games and read between the lines, and that's how...
Very enjoyable process.
Yeah, absolutely.
From literature and fiction to science fiction. Are you a science fiction fan?
I can be, yes. I think one of my... No,
I
one of
can
my-
be.
Yeah, one of my favorite films of all time is Blade Runner. I just love that film. And then, you know, I grew up on Star Wars. It was like my Bible. That was my... I grew up without any religion in my home, but that was a religion.
Star
Lovely.
Wars
Yeah,
was.
Star Wars.
That's
The
amazing.
original 3, of course. And so, yeah, I think I have been, you know...
not that you can be,
even the
you are a
reading,
science
the
fiction
reading,
fan.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy. These
Yes.
are the things I grew up with. I'm an old school sci-fi.
You're an old soul science fiction
Yeah.
fan. But here's the thing. Do you think Indian filmmakers generally stay away from these genres? We don't see this too much coming out of
Do
India.
you think it's a budget thing? It's just hard
Is it
to
a budget
raise the
thing?
budget?
I feel, yes, it's a commerce thing. You know, when you make a Hindi film, it's really tough because you are making a film for across India, right? To get that right story which finds an
Cuts
identification, cuts across is really tough. And I think things like science fiction and time travel, they're like acquired taste, which needs a little bit of time to spread. And that's why we have short films. You need to feed people with these short films. If Kalki went and made a short film on chairs...
Chairs?
On chairs, yeah, like sofa.
Yellow chairs.
Yeah, she made a film on sofa, right? Which is great, and people will watch that film on sofa. But what she actually is doing is allowing me to make a feature film in sofa.
So has there been any homegrown science fiction writing literature that has emerged from our country? Because I feel like we focus more on the fantasy and the lore and the mythology. We have great archival, historical documentation of so many things and
There's great
supernatural
potential
stuff.
for science
But
fiction.
I think there is.
We've
there
never
is.
had...
It's not tapped.
We had a lot in Bengali, though. Like Anukul was a science fiction story. So,
So
but not. I agree with you. There's not a
There's not
plethora of
enough
stuff, but
feeding, there's not enough cultural...
in Bengali literature, there was this gentleman called Adrish Bordon. He used to write a lot of science fiction stuff. But again, it's a little acquired taste.
So because it's an acquired taste, do you think we don't have enough of an audience for it, and maybe it's time is not...
Audience we have. I don't think audience is a concern here. Like when we were watching Chandrakanta in television, it was, again, magic realism. It has magic, it has time travel, it has everything. So we've never completely believed in pure science for years. It's a very recent phenomenon, according to what I understand.
Is there, in your opinion, any other genre that is maybe underserved in our country, something that is a favorite that you miss, your favorite that you miss?
You know, we attempted a science fiction genre mashed with comedy in a show called OK Computer, which I believe is very innovative, very inventive, and it's a two difficult genres come together. But, you know, there needs to be more attempts at it. Because, again, budgets are a big concern to get VFX and everything, right? But we've understood, like, how do we do a sci-fi with low budget, you know? It is achievable. It's just a matter of time and enough players wanting to do it.
Yeah, we will do it.
Let's now talk about language. Ahalya was in Bengali, and yet it, you know, reached the corners of the world. I mean, it's a very popular film. Do you think that filmmakers should be braver as far as, you know, language is concerned and just go out there and do what you did, more of it?
See, it depends on the platform you're serving. I think if I'm on a streaming platform, yes, I will be as brave with languages as possible. Since the days of LDs and DVDs, we have learned to read films. You know, we have watched films with subtitles. We have learned to read films, and that actually helped me a lot with Ahalya, because a lot of people, if you ask, they still don't know Ahalya is a Bengali film. Because they've read the subtitle, they still don't know it's a Bengali film. It's just like, no, it was a Hindi film, no? But I think, yes, if I'm doing it on a streaming platform, I will go all out and give the characters the language they rightfully speak in. But if I'm doing a feature, I'll be a little more careful. See, feature, I'm accountable, Mandira. I'm accountable for a lot of money. You know, somebody's investing a lot of money, somebody's doing... So I have to be a little careful with what I do.
Like we've said plenty of times in these conversations, you can be brave, you can be courageous when it comes to short films. You can really put yourself out there. And the courage comes from these smaller films.
And the courage also comes from the people who are investing in short films because they know there's no return. They're not doing it to get money back. They're doing it because they believe in it, because there's some amount of passion that's going in, right?
Yeah.
So I think that makes a lot of difference.
Kalki, you recently mentioned that short films help a filmmaker get in touch with the purity of the form. How important is it for an artist to work with a platform like Royal Stag Barrel Select large short films so as to, you know, liberate their vision from market forces, from box office?
Yeah, I mean, it keeps idealism alive. If you can make the story you want to make exactly how you want to make it, without like 10 people coming and saying, I want you to edit it like this or add this song or do this, and the audience won't like that, blah, 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 blah. So absolutely, it's great that there's a platform where, you know, the funding is there for these things, because otherwise we're all doing it for free. Most short films we do, we're all doing it for free because we just want to make
We do it for vada paos and we do it for Maggi noodles.
And for career enhancements.
Enhancement too, yes.
Investments. But yeah, I think also some things I think can only be told in a short form. I see a film like Juice as a film that has used these techniques of, you know, like the sounds in the kitchen, the hecticness of that claustrophobic atmosphere, then the men in the living room, like Aram se with their AC, you know, and the way it's been, it would be too much to see that over a feature film. But the point is made so clearly and so well at the end when she comes and just like chills with her juice, you know, Shefali Shah. Just the look in her eyes. I mean, these are films which just stay in your head.
Yeah.
And I think they were made for a reason in this form. And similarly, some things need to be told over, you know, series and seasons.
I'm going to ask all three of you this next question. Every actor, every director has a wish list. What's on yours?
As in the stuff I want to do.
In terms of collaborations.
I don't know who's going to make it, but I want to do a comedy really badly. Yeah, with Sujoy, I would love to do a comedy.
Please. I was hoping...
And a musical.
Hey, listen.
No,
Because he's sitting here, you don't have to say it.
I know.
Come on, wish
but
list.
I think,
You worked with him twice before.
I think with Homi Adajania would make a good comedy. I would love to work with Anees Bazmi, who makes some incredible comedy.
You want to go downright masala.
Yeah, I want to do nonsensical, good, fun, dramatic, over the top, everything, whatever it required.
What's on your
Wish list?
wish list? Yes.
I want to, you know, there's this story of this woman called Sister Nivedita. She was this British lady, Margaret, who came into India and became a devotee of Vivekananda. I think that's an untapped story that would be very interesting in the whole setup of Britain and freedom fighters in India and all of that. And this woman stuck in the middle because she was devoted to this Indian man, but she was British, you know, so very interesting story. Who will direct this? I don't know. Anybody wanting to do it, please do it.
Come on, put it out there. Put it into the universe. Who do you think
Nitya
would...
Mehra. I'd love to work with Nitya Mehra.
Nitya
on this.
Mehra.
Okay. Then I'd like to do a rom-com called Green Socks, Red Socks.
Green Socks, Red
with
Socks.
Sujoy.
Yeah, come on then.
Green Sock, Red Sock.
This is how great ideas are born. Next season of
Rom-com, just
Royal
because I am
Stag
sick
Barrel
and
Select,
tired.
We'll be talking about Red Socks, Green Socks.
I'm sick and
how
tired of doing films where, you know, I kill the guy in the end. And what else? I would love to do action.
She's actually giving us a list. That's great.
Yeah, sci-fi, action-packed sci-fi. Who would direct?
Rom-com
comedy.
and Sister Nivedita.
Yeah, and like some kind of where I have to learn like Krav Maga or some really like hardcore, you know, martial art. I'd love to do something of that degree. Who with? Sriram Raghavan?
Oh, that's a good one. I want to work with Sriram Raghavan, yes, in a heist film with a comedy angle to it.
Beautiful. I think it's all very specific. And when you manifest, you need to be specific in your manifestations. That's very nice. Now, talking about dream collaborations, a Sujoy Ghosh film starring Vijay Varma and Kalki Koechlin. I think it seems like a dreaming combination. What do you think?
Well, it'll be great. I mean, do a heist film with them.
Yeah, comedy heist.
Where she's a hardcore martial artist, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
And some serious, like, full-on comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
he's
she
a
kills me in the end.
and he's one
He's
of
like
those.
a cyber geek and he's like, you know, trying really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's one of those roguish, hard criminal with those.
See, he's thinking as we speak right now.
I have a double role because why not?
Well, here's hoping that happens.
Thank you.
Now, as we wrap up this amazing chat, we are going to get a delightful glimpse into the lives of these stars by posing quirky questions about their personal experiences in the film industry. Engaging in a have you ever activity. Our stars are about to spill the beans on some very unforgettable moments from their cinematic journeys. Okay? So, Kalki, Vijay, and Sujoy, I'm going to have placards right next to you.
Okay.
Where?
Okay, there'll be yes or no written
will.
on either side, and I'll be asking questions, and you'll have to answer showing the placard, which is the reply to
All right.
the question. So, have you ever played a character that you didn't initially like? Yes. Yes. Which ones? Quickly.
Oh, yeah, maybe Yellow Boots. I was a bit like, oh, what am I doing with this character? Like, that question is there often.
Okay.
Darlings.
Okay. Didn't personally like, didn't like.
I hated the guy.
I understand. Okay. Have you ever learned a skill for a movie or a movie role?
Skills, yeah, I mean, what do you call a skill? Like,
I learned martial arts for Sujoy.
I did it. I vouch for it.
I learned driving for Gully Boy.
I learned to change lenses on a camera for Kho Gaye Hum Kahan.
That is.
Oh, I know what I learned. I learned to write a script for my first film. Shankar, I learned to write a script.
That is a specific skill, and then
Yeah.
get on in, you got better at it. He learned something new for a movie. Have you ever laughed uncontrollably during a serious scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Several times.
I mean, every time I'm on a night shoot and it's 3 a.m., there's a magical
The
aura.
case of the giggles.
The case of the giggles. And it's very annoying for the other actor and the director and everybody who just wants to go home.
Yes.
And I just
And then you just can't help
stop.
it. You can't stop.
Several times.
Several times.
There was Darlings were shooting that scene where they're trying to throw me off the terrace. I don't know what happened. It's the same night shoot. We just kept laughing.
Yeah, it happens on night
Just
shoots.
kept laughing.
Something
What
to
damn
do with
irritating.
the exhaustion and let
yeah.
go.
Vidya, if she gets the giggles, man, that's the worst. That's it. That's the end of your shoot, man.
And also, is there a theme over here, somewhere middle of the night type, or does it happen anytime?
I think after a point, I think when certain amount of exhaustion sets in, no, you just let it go.
It comes without any warning.
Giggles are the worst thing that can happen.
Have you ever praised a movie that you hated?
Yeah.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is our film industry.
Yes, we are hypocrites.
We are
So
ashamed
authentic.
to admit this
It's
is
called
Now you have
brotherhood.
to tell us the name.
Like you
No,
can't.
it's
you
called
go to
brotherhood.
It's
It's
not
inhuman
fair.
to say.
You can't go to a
truth
screening.
on screen.
You cannot. No.
And then you come out and there's like 10 journalists
no,
and you're
no.
supposed to say, oh,
Because
it's
they're good.
terrible.
Tell me the name
Obviously
of just
not.
one, because you've done it several times.
In a
clearly.
film,
What
like
chance we can say it?
there's about 250 people working on a film, right? I can mess it up just by taking some silly calls, right? But there are hopes and asha.
Dreams that are shattered.
Yeah, so you can't hurt them, man. So even if I've messed up, Vijay can't come and say, oh, this is a very bad film. He has
I
to
don't
say,
blatantly lie and say, wow. I don't say that like, congratulations, all the best.
Do you ever use the word interesting?
Interesting
that was a very
means it's a bad
interesting
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you don't say, you don't even use interesting.
No.
If they're saying it's an honest film, accept it that it's they didn't like
Yeah.
it. It's an honest
background
film.
was so good.
It's
Bad
very
film.
wrong.
Yeah.
Interesting. There are some words that I pick. I know कि इनको नहीं समझ में आया.
I sometimes say I couldn't have done anything like this. I couldn't have made a film like this. I don't know how you thought of a film like this.
Hey,
How did you manage?
you call that praise?
But this is apparent.
This is wild
But
stuff.
it's just that bad news
The
is
long wow. Like the slow clap.
screening is not the right time. If you're at the edit stage or at a stage where it can be, you can help the person. It's a different thing. On screening, the next morning they're going to read reviews. They will find out.
No point saying anything bad at that.
Let's save it for the critics.
You don't be the...
You
And the reviews.
Yeah,
The
if you're
messenger.
not there in the edit table, then there's no point. The film is done and it's done. There's nothing happening now.
Damage is
No matter
done.
what you say.
But what can I say? I appreciate your honesty. Thank you very much. Thank you for embarking on this enchanting journey of stories and narratives with us. All of you have been great. Remember, each tale possesses a distinctive ability to inspire, connect, and shape our worlds. Not just feature-length movies, even short films can create a large impact with the right script. As we wrap up tonight's discussion on the adventures of storytelling, let's all of us wish for our own stories to be filled with chapters of joy, resilience, and endless possibilities. Until our next rendezvous, continue weaving the tapestry of your life with threads of meaningful kahanis. A heartfelt thank you to our extraordinary guests, Sujoy, Vijay, and Kalki. Special gratitude to Royal Stag Barrel Select Large Short Films for providing us with a platform to engage in such crucial conversations about cinema with these celebrated personalities. It's time for curtains down. Keep the cinematic spirit alive.